Hello, I welcome you to our today's lesson, and it is just a continuation of where we ended last time. And last time we discussed about the two different structures of a plant cell in a simple way. Okay, yeah, and we said that there are two types of microscope, and these microscopes they view these cells differently. So last time we discussed the plant cell according to how a light microscope view a plant cell as well as what an animal cell. And we agreed that when we are using a light microscope to view an animal cell, there are only three parts that are seen. Okay, there are only three parts. So we agreed to say, so this is a structure of an animal cell, and a structure of an animal cell, it is irregular. Okay, a shape, it is irregular like this. Okay, and this spot, we said that it is a nucleus, and again there is this thick jelly fluid called a cytoplasm. Okay, so there are three parts when you are using what? A light microscope. A light what? A light microscope. A light microscope. We said that there are two microscope. Okay, so these cells, according to the definition that we discussed last time, we said that a cell is a smallest unit in what? In a living organism. Okay, and we said that these cells, they are small and they cannot be seen by our naked eyes. Okay, so we can talk about the red blood cells. We have not seen them. The red blood cells, they can be seen by the help of what? A microscope. And this microscope, they are in two types. There is a light microscope and what? Electronic microscope. Electronic. Okay, and we said that a light microscope is able to view these cells in a simple way, meaning that some of the parts of cells are not seen. But when we get to use an electronic microscope, which is this one, that's where now we are able to see what? Other parts. So last time, the structures that we discussed, which is the plant cell and animal cell, we are discussing the parts that are just viewed when these cells are viewed by what? A light microscope. Okay, so when an animal cell is viewed by a light microscope, which is a microscope which views an animal cell in a simple way, or a plant cell in a simple way, so there are only three parts that are what? That are seen, and these parts are called what? The first one is called a cell membrane. This we discussed, and I know that all of us, we are acquainted with this, the cell membrane. And this one is called what? A cytoplasm. A cytoplasm. Like this. Then this part is called what? A nucleus. And these three parts, they are abbreviated as what? Protoplasm. They make up what is called what? Protoplasm. Okay, these cells, these three parts. So we even discussed the function of a cell membrane. We also discussed the function of a cytoplasm, where we said that the function of a cytoplasm is to give a shape to what? To the cells. We are going to discover that the plant cell, the shape of a plant cell and the shape of a red blood cells are just totally different, or the structure, the cell membrane, or the structure of an animal cell and a plant cell, there is a distinction factor. These two are just totally different, and it is because of what this cytoplasm, it gives different what shapes of what these cells. Okay, so today we are going to discuss about the detailed structure of what an animal cell. Okay, so this detailed structure, it comes as a result of what an electronic microscope. So when we use an electronic microscope, we are able to see other parts which are not viewed when we use what a light microscope. Okay, so inside, now where are these parts hidden? Okay, so inside a part called cytoplasm, this one. So inside a cytoplasm, which is the whole lot of this part, inside this, there are other parts which are not viewed when we use what? A light microscope. But when we use an electronic microscope, we are able to see other parts. So today we are going to discuss about what? A detailed structure of an animal cell. So we are even going to know exactly where these parts are located inside what? A cytoplasm. So inside a cytoplasm, there are other parts which includes a ribosomes, there is a vacuole, there is also a smooth endoplasmic rectum, there is also rough endoplasmic reticulum, there is also a mitochondria, and so on. So there are so many parts that are hidden what? Inside a cytoplasm. So that's what we are going to discuss today. So let's now talk about what? A detailed structure of what? An animal cell, and exactly where these parts I've mentioned, I'm just for mentioning, are what? Are located. So this is a structure. This is how the structure of an animal cell looks like when it is viewed by what? An electronic microscope. So inside a cytoplasm, remember we discussed that this part, the outer part, it is called the cytoplasm. So inside the cytoplasm, there are other parts. So when we view an animal cell using an electronic microscope, we are able to see other parts like this one, which looks like a sausage, like even this one, those, and this these round things that we are able to see. Yeah, so we are just going to label together these parts, and remember we are saying that these parts, they are inside a cytoplasm. So this part is just, it is a cell membrane. So there's nothing changes, there's nothing like, no, it's again, it's no, it's just a cell membrane. So it is a cell membrane. Some books will tell you to say these are plasma membrane, but it is a cell membrane, it's just one and the same. And we said a function of a cell membrane is just to allow materials, okay, watery materials such as water as well as oxygen to enter, as well as to remove toxic substance, okay, or usable materials now which are not what needed inside what a cell. That is the function of a cytoplasm. So when oxygen is being used inside, and we know that when oxygen is used inside, what comes out is carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide is also what excreted through what? A cell membrane. Okay, so this part is called a cell membrane, and this part is called what? A cytoplasm. A cytoplasm in general. But inside the cytoplasm, we are able to see these parts inside. So this part is called the Golgi bodies. The Golgi bodies. The Golgi bodies. The Golgi bodies. Some books will say the Golgi apparatus. Some books will say the Golgi apparatus, and this part, the Golgi apparatus, it was just named after a biologist who discovered it. His name was what? A Golgi. Okay, so it is just the name of a person who discovered it in an animal cell. And this part that you are able to see, this part is called a smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, and we are also able to see these spots inside, these spots. So a lot of these spots that you are able to see, even there, these spots are called the ribosomes. Okay, I'll explain to you the functions of these parts. Okay, but let's just label together. So these parts are called what? Ribosomes. And there is also this part, and we can see it's looking like a sausage. So this part is called a mitochondria. It's called what? A mitochondria. Then there is also this part, which is having the ribosomes. This part is, if you can see clearly, this part, the structure where these ribosomes are or seated is similar with this part. So this one is called a smooth endoplasmic reticulum because it has no what? Ribosomes. Okay, there is not that these ribosomes, they are not there. So this one is called what? A rough endoplasmic reticulum. And the reason to why it is called a rough endoplasmic reticulum is because of what? These ribosomes, they make it to be what? Rough. Okay, so these are the parts of what? A detailed structure of an animal cell. Okay, and I've forgotten about this one. This part is called what? A vacuole. A vacuole. Okay, so this is a detailed structure, and these are the parts which are seen when we using an electronic microscope. Okay, so these are some of the parts which are contained inside a part called what? A cytoplasm. Okay, so we are able to see Golgi bodies, we are able to see smooth endoplasmic reticulum, we are also able to see ribosomes, we are also able to see the mitochondria, we are also able to see the rough endoplasmic reticulum, as well as what? The vacuole. Okay, so we are saying that these spots are called what? Ribosomes. Okay, now the question is, what is the function of these ribosomes? So the function of these ribosomes, they produce what is called what? Protein. So the production of proteins is done by what? The ribosomes. Okay, and we know that the function of the proteins in our body is to bring about what? Growth, as well as to repair what? Other tissues. So if there is a damaged part inside this cell, which is an animal cell, so there is what? The proteins which are being produced by the ribosomes, they are going to be what? To be sent to that part which is damaged, so that it can be what? It can be in good condition. Okay, So that is the function of what? These ribosomes. So we are saying that the function of the ribosomes is to produce what? To produce what? Proteins. So the production of proteins is done by what? The production of proteins is done by ribosomes. Okay, proteins. And this brings me to these two similar parts, which we are calling the endoplasmic reticulum. And we are able to see that on this one, which is the left endoplasmic reticulum, there are some ribosomes. Okay, and if you can see there on the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, there are no ribosomes. So the sheer difference between the the smooth endoplasmic reticulum and the left endoplasmic reticulum is that the smooth endoplasmic reticulum has what? No proteins. Okay, so this, it has no proteins. This, it has no proteins. Okay, it has what? No proteins. So in another word, it does not contain proteins. It does not produce proteins. Rather, it produces other minerals such as what? Lipids or lipids, which are called what? Fats. Okay, fats. And we know that the function of the lipids is to regulate the thermal temperature. Okay, bring about the temperature, just to maintain the temperature of what? Of a cell. That is the function of the lipids. Okay, so now if we talk about this rough endoplasmic reticulum containing what? The ribosomes. So this rough endoplasmic reticulum, it contains the ribosomes, and we have agreed to say the function of the ribosomes is to produce what? Is to produce or to make proteins. So the synthesis or the production of proteins is done by ribosomes. And the function of this rough endoplasmic reticulum, because it contains the ribosomes, so the function of this, it also produces what? The proteins. So the rough endoplasmic reticulum, it produces proteins. Okay, it produces what? Proteins. Now these proteins which are being produced, the other function of this rough endoplasmic reticulum, it is going to pack these proteins into what is called the vascles. Okay, into what is called what? The vascles. Okay, vascles. Okay, vascles. This word, vascles. Okay, vascles. So the proteins are being produced by the ribosomes, and the function of the rough endoplasmic reticulum is to pack these proteins into what is called what? Into what is called what? Vascles. Okay, packing. Okay, so packing into what is called what? Vascles. So these vascles, they are in each and every cell that we can mention or talk about here. Okay, and the function of these vascles, they act as what? Transport. So they transport materials from one cell to another. So these proteins which are being produced by the ribosomes, the endoplasmic reticulum, the rough endoplasmic reticulum, they are going to pack them into what is called what? Vascles. And these vascles, they are going now to transport the proteins to another cell. But usually within the cell, these vascles, they normally transport these proteins. They take them to what is called what? The Golgi bodies. This part. So they will take them to what is called the Golgi bodies. Now what happens when these proteins, they reach the Golgi bodies? Okay, so when these proteins, they reach the Golgi bodies, these Golgi bodies, so when they reach this part, so these Golgi bodies, the function of the Golgi bodies is to change the shape of these proteins, and upon changing the shape of these proteins, they will now do what? Transport to what? To to the area where proteins are what are needed. So if there is a damaged part, okay, if there is a damaged part just within the cell, so these Golgi bodies, they are going to do what? To transport the proteins to that specific part where proteins are what? Are being needed. Okay, so that is the function of what? The Golgi body. So the function of the Golgi bodies is to change the shape, okay, changing the shape of what? Proteins, changing the shape of what? The proteins, as well as when they change the shape of these proteins, okay, when they change the shape of the proteins, the same vesicles, okay, these vesicles which are inside the endoplasmic reticulum, these vesicles, they are not just in here, but they are inside the cell, and we are saying that these vesicles, they transport what? Materials from one cell to another. So upon changing the Golgi bodies, upon changing the shape of the proteins, okay, upon changing the shape of the proteins, so these Golgi bodies, they will produce the vesicles, okay, they will produce the vesicles, and these vesicles now, they will transport what? They will transport the proteins, what? They will transport the proteins. They will transport the proteins to the area where what they are what? Needed. Okay, to the area or an area where what are needed. So that is the function of these Golgi bodies. Okay, so we have discussed about the larval endoplasmic reticulum. We have also talked about the ribosomes, and we have also talked about the Golgi bodies. So the part that is remaining is this part. If you are following me, is this part, this. Okay, so the part that is remaining is the mitochondria. So what is the function of the mitochondria? So the site of this part, it has been said to be a powerhouse. Okay, it has been said to be what? A powerhouse. Okay, what do I mean? So it has been said to be a center where energy is being what? Produced. So this, and with the process by which energy is being produced, is called what? Respiration. So the site for respiration, this mitochondria is what? Is the site for what? Respiration. Site for what? Respiration. And respiration is the process by which glucose is, or large molecules are being broken down to release what? Energy. So this is the site for what? Respiration. So this is the site for respiration. That is the function of what? The mitochondria. It is a powerhouse. Okay, it is a powerhouse. So the content of energy are inside, are in what? Are in mitochondria. The production of energy is done in what? In the mitochondria. The cell needs energy for all lot of these parts that we have mentioned, the vesicles, the Golgi bodies, changing the shape. They require what? The energy. Even the cell itself, as an animal cell, for it to function or to function well, they feed on what? Energy. So they require energy. Okay, and this energy is done in what? In mitochondria. Okay, so the mitochondria has been said to be a site for what? Respiration. And respiration is the process by which large molecules such as glucose is being broken down in order to release what? Energy. Okay, so which part is remaining? The vacuole. Okay, the vacuole is the part which is remaining. So this vacuole, it contains a shape which is called, it contains what is called a cell sap. it contains what is called what? A cell sap. And this cell sap, it is a storage of what? Dissolved materials. Okay, cell sap is a storage of what? Dissolved materials, such as what? Sugar. Such as sugar. Okay, so dissolved materials are stored in what is called what? Vacuole. Okay, so vacuole contain a structure called a cell sap, which stores or keeps dissolved materials, e.g. sugar and other dissolved materials, which can be salt and the other examples that you may give. Okay, and last but not the least, this part is called a nucleus. Okay, it's a nucleus, and the function of the nucleus is to control all the activities of what? Of a cell. So these are the parts of a detailed structure of an animal cell, and so as what? A plant cell. So what is the difference? Okay, the difference between a detailed structure of a plant cell and an animal cell is what? A cell wall. So when we include a cell wall to this animal cell, it becomes what? It becomes a plant cell, as well as what? The chloroplast. But don't worry, we'll discuss these ones. So let's also look at the structure of what? A plant cell. So this is a structure, a detailed structure of a plant cell. This is a detailed structure of a plant cell. So this is how a detailed structure of a plant cell is. So the contents or the parts are just the same, apart from the cell, which is the outer part of the plant cell, and its function is just to protect the delegated parts of what? A cell. And we know the function of the cell membrane is just the same, is to allow materials to enter through the cell, such as water as well as oxygen. Also, the cell membrane helps to remove toxic materials, okay, or materials which the cell does not want, such as carbon dioxide. Okay, so carbon dioxide is excreted or is removed by the help of what? The cell membrane. So we have got the cytoplasm, and we are just from saying that a cytoplasm, it gives a shape to the cell, and inside the cytoplasm there are other tiny parts which are not seen when we use a light microscope, but these are just seen when we use an electronic microscope. And these parts includes the Golgi bodies, and the Golgi bodies, other book says the Golgi apparatus. Okay, and this is just a name of a person who discovered it. Okay, his name was Golgi. Okay, and we know that the function of the Golgi is just to transport, is to change the shape of the proteins which are being produced, and to transport them to the part or area where proteins are needed. And the transport inside a cell is called the vascles. Okay, the vascles are the ones that carry these proteins to the area where proteins are needed. we also discussed the function, or we have also discussed the function of the endoplasmic reticulum, and we have said that this smooth endoplasmic reticulum, they are called smooth because they don't have ribosomes on them. Okay, they don't have what? Ribosomes. And we have said that the function of the ribosome is to produce proteins, or they make what? Proteins. And we know the function of the proteins. Proteins are very useful in an animal cell as well as in the human body. They help to repair damaged tissues or cells. They also helps in terms of what? Growth. So that is the function of what? Proteins. So this smooth endoplasmic reticulum, they don't have these proteins, but they produce what is called the lipids. Okay, they produce what is called the lipids. Okay, the lipids. And these lipids are fats, and one of the function of the fats, they act as what? Insulators. Okay, they act as what? Insulators. In another word, they produce what? Heat. So the production of heat, like in our bodies, when we talk about an animal cell in our bodies, when it's cold, a person will begin to shiver. So you're going to find that at the end of the day, a person will feel home, and that home heat is coming from what? Is being produced by what? The lipids, which are what? Fats. So this endoplasmic reticulum, so as in what? In plants, even the plants, they produce what? Fats. So let's also talk about the liposomes. I've talked about them. The function of the liposomes is to produce proteins. And the function of the mitochondria, we said that the function of the mitochondria, they produce what? They produce energy. It is a powerhouse, okay, where energy is being what? Produced. Okay, so by what? The process called what? Respiration. So this is a site of respiration, where respiration takes. And we know that respiration is just simply a process by which large molecules such as glucose is what? Broken down in order to release what? Energy. Okay, so for all of the parts that we have just tantalized, for them to function well, they require what? Energy. So left endoplasmic reticulum is another part. This is the part, left endoplasmic reticulum, and the reason why it is called left endoplasmic reticulum is because it has got ribosomes on it. Okay, so these ribosomes makes it to do what? Laugh. Even if you can see, it's totally different from this one. This one looks smooth, looks clean compared to this one. Okay, so it is called laugh because it contains some ribosomes. And the function of the ribosomes, don't forget, we have said that the function of the ribosomes is to produce what? Proteins. Okay, so these proteins, when they are being produced by the ribosomes, of course this left endoplasmic reticulum, it also produces what? Proteins, because the ribosomes, they are on it, they are attached to this endoplasmic. So now the function of this left endoplasmic reticulum, it converts now, or these proteins, rather it packs them into what is called the vascles. Okay, into what is called the vascles, and these vascles, they act like what? A transport. So the function of these vascles is to transport materials. So in this case, the vascles, they will transport what? Proteins. So after the endoplasmic pack them into the vascles, so now the vascles, they will transport them to what? To other cells. But in this case, since it's just within the cell, so the vascles, these vascles, they will transport the proteins to this part, which is called the Golgi bodies, because the Golgi bodies, this is where now the the manufactured or the so made called the proteins comes, when they come to the Golgi bodies, these Golgi bodies, they will now take them to what? To the area, specific area where they what? They are needed. Okay, damaged areas. Okay, so we have got also the vacuole, and we are saying that the vacuole is what? It contains a part inside it called a cell sap, and this cell sap, it is a storage of dissolved materials, e.g. sugar. Okay, sugar, dissolved materials such as sugar, we can talk of salt. Okay, that is the function of a vacuole. Okay, so another part, okay, so due to space, there are some parts which I have not labeled. If you have noticed, there is this part which is called this part is called the chloroplast. Okay, this part is called the chloroplast. Okay, so this part is called the chloroplast. It is called a chloroplast. Okay, so this part, I'll just light it there like that. So it contains what? A chloroplast, like this. So it contains this part, and this part is called a chloroplast. So the function of the chloroplast, and this chloroplast, it is just found in plants, and the reason is very simple. So the reason is its function that I'm about to say now, and I want you to pay a particular attention to the function of what? A chloroplast, because this happens to be a shear factor between an animal cell as well as what? A plant cell. So a chloroplast, inside a chloroplast, okay, so we are talking about a plant cell, in plants. Okay, so there is this part called a chloroplast. So a chloroplast, inside a chloroplast contains what is called a chlorophyll. Okay, and the chlorophyll has been said to be a green pigment which traps what? Light. Okay, it also gives the color to what? To the fruits as well as to the plants. Okay, so you're going to find that most of the trees, they are evergreen. They are green. Okay, they are green due to what? This pigment which we are saying what? A chlorophyll. It is what? A green pigment. Okay, so it gives color to what? Pigments. And we are saying that it contains chlorophyll. This chlorophyll, it traps light. Okay, and this light is the one which is used in the process of what? Photosynthesis. Okay, and we know that the photosynthesis is the process by which plants make their own food. Okay, that is photosynthesis. Okay, so photosynthesis is the process by which plants make their own food. Okay, so it's just simply, when you're talking about photosynthesis is the process by which the water reacts with what? Carbon dioxide. Okay, so when the water react with the carbon dioxide, they produce what is called glucose, which happens to be what? Energy. Okay, so the catalyst which is used is light, and this light is being trapped by what? A chlorophyll, which is found inside what? A chloroplast. Okay, so that is the function of a chloroplast. So the function of the chloroplast is that it contains a chlorophyll, which is a green pigment, and this green pigment, it traps what? Light. Okay, it is usable. Light is usable during the process of photosynthesis. light is used what as a catalyst. And when you're talking about a catalyst, is something that is speeding up what a chemical reaction. In this sense, we are saying that the process or the chemical reaction that we are talking about, we're talking about the chemical reaction of what the process of what photosynthesis, where the water reacts with carbon dioxide to produce energy, which is called glucose. So these are the functions of a detailed plant cell as well as a detailed structure of an animal cell. So in the next lesson, we are going to discuss about the difference between an animal cell and a plant cell. Then from there, we are going to discuss about other cells. Yeah, so I want to be fast so that we can start revising or going through some of the examination papers on how we can attempt some of the questions, because it has been identified that most of the people, they usually fail biology. Not that they don't know, they know and they have knowledge, they have studied, but on just the way on how to go about answering the question makes them to get low marks. So it's for this reason that I want us to finish the syllabus. Okay, I am acquainted with the syllabus, so once we are done with the syllabus, we'll start going through some of the questions, the examination questions, or even on the way in which we can go about answering and obtaining the stipulated marks. So thank you very much. So today, remember to go through these notes and to revise through several times. So thank you very much. God bless you.